Hello guys, today in this video we will learn how to use the transform property in CSS. We will learn how to scale, rotate, translate and skew an element in CSS with the help of transform property. And also we will see a few basic animations that we can do with all these properties. So starting with the video, I have a box to which I've given some basic CSS. Now, let's start with our first um, transform property, that is scale. So to use transform, you just say transform here and you write scale. Now here, what scale does is it either makes your element large, like it scales your element, or it can make your element smaller. So for example, if you say scale 1.2 and you save, you see that your element grows in size, right? This means that it scaled it to 1.2. Also, you can make it smaller. For example, let's say 0.5 and you save, you see the element becomes smaller than its original size. So this is how you use the scale property. Um, to do the basic animation with this particular property, what you can do is you can say transform scale 1 to the original element that you have. Like transform scale 1 is a default property, so you won't be seeing any changes here. And when you hover on the box, let's say the scale to become 1.2. Now when you hover, you see the element is growing. Now you would say that this is not an animation because it is not smooth, right? So we can just give it some transition of 0.3 seconds maybe. uh, the topic of this video is not transition, so I won't be explaining in depth about transition. I will for sure make another video for transition. So here you can just add like a transition of 0.3 seconds, and now if you hover, you have that very basic smooth animation of growing. So you can give this animation to any boxes that you have on your website, or you can use it in different ways. So this was our first scale property. Now let's see the second one, that is rotate. So rotate being a self-explanatory word, you might think that the element will rotate. So you are right. So to use the rotate property, we need to give it a value of an angle, which would be degrees. So you say 30 degrees and you see that the element rotates. Now you have other properties for rotate, say rotate X, and here you say 30 degrees. And if you remove this, then this actually is in the 3D thing, and it rotates the element on the X axis to 30 degrees. And if you do the similar thing for your Y axis and you save, you see that it rotates it in the y-axis. Now these are pretty much used with a 3D element, so you won't see much of a difference as this is a 2D element right now. So this is how you can use the rotate property. For right now, let's say rotate of 30 degrees. And to use it with basic animation, what you can do is you can say um, for this, let's say 90 degrees, and on hover, let's make it a 0 degree. Okay. Now, if you hover, you see you don't see much of a difference, right? It's just very quickly happening. So again, you can give some transition over here of maybe 0.6 seconds, and we give the same transition over here so that it is smooth both the times. So when you hover, you see it rotates. Okay, so this can be a basic animation you can give on your website when you hover an element or something. So this was our second value to our transform property, that was rotate. Now let's see the third one, that is translate. So translate, let's say 50 pixels and we save. Now did you see that the element moved a little bit to the right? So what this will do is it will move the element from its original place for 50 pixels. Okay. So your original place, for example, is here and your element is also in its original place. So now if you give it a value of 50 pixels, then it will move 50 pixels away from its original starting point. So that is how the translate property works. The first is your x-axis and the second one will be on your y-axis. So if you say 40, now you see that it moved from the top. So the second, it moved on the y-axis. So 40 pixels from its top value. From the top, it moved 40 pixels. So this is how your translate property works. Now, you will be using this property a lot when you want to center elements. So for example, let me give you an example here of an after a pseudo element if you're aware of it, and if you're not, then I'll put the link to my video on before and after. You can go and watch that out. The link will be in the description box below. So let's say content, and let's say background color to be blue or blue violet. Let's say width to be 90 pixels and height to be 40 pixels, and give it a position of absolute. So you see that element on the page over there, and let's give this a position of a relative. Now, what we can do is this element we want it to be uh, in the exact center of this black box. So what we'll be doing is we'll tell it to move a top of 50%. All right, and we'll say from left also we want it to be at a 50%. Okay, now to get it exactly in the center is we will say transform, and our translate here we'll say minus 50% and minus 50%. And now if you say when you see the element is exactly in the center. So this is how you can use the translate property. You won't be using this much for animations. You can use this for animations as well. I will show you an example of how you can use it to animate your elements. But this would be the case where you will be using it the most. So understand how this is working so that it will help you when you're doing your CSS or when you want to bring your before and after elements exactly in the center. Okay, so this is what I use the most when I'm doing some CSS like this. So let's remove this. Now let's try a little bit of animation with our translate. So what we can do is on hover, we can give it this value. And when there is no hover, let's let it be just 0 pixels. Now when you hover it, you see it is moving. And again, we did for the previous things. We'll do the same thing here. That is some transition so that it is smooth. So let's give it a transition of maybe more like 1 second. So now you see it is smooth, right? The transition was a bit fast earlier, so you were not visually able to see it. So now if you see, it is slow and very smooth. Okay, so this maybe you can use it for some small animations, but not really it comes in that much of use for doing animations. But of course, you can use it as per your use case. Now, the last property that we will see is skew, which we don't use much. In fact, I never use it. It was just one time in my career. Till today, I've used it. So it is a very rarely used property, but still, it's good to know how to use it. So for skew, also, you give a value in degrees. And if you say skew 30 degrees, then your shape just gets skewed in 30 degrees. Okay, so this is how your skew property works. You also have different values for it. Let's say skew x, and skew y. So skew y, let's say 40 degrees, and you say, and you see that it is skewed in the x-axis of 30 degrees and y for 40 degrees. So this is how you use, like if there are weird shapes and things like that, then you can just use this property over there. You can also use this for like a basic animation. I don't really think you will need it, but yeah, you can use it in the same way I showed you for the last three things, the rotate, scale, and translate. You can just use like small animation in the same way for this property as well. So that is how you use all the four properties. Now, if you want to combine more than one property, what you can do is you just need to mention it over here. For example, rotate 30 degrees, and just give some space and say scale 0.1. And now if you see, I think 0.1 became very small, so let's say 1.6. And now if you save, you see that it is also scaling and it has also rotated, right? So we can also give some animation to these properties as well. So here let it just be 1, and let this just be 0 degrees, and let's give it a transition of 0.9 seconds. So if you see, it is scaling as well as rotating, right? So you have different properties that you can give to transition, but I won't be covering that in this video. I will make a dedicated video for transition soon. So thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you understood the transform property in CSS. If you have any doubts, then put them in the description box below, and I'm sorry. If you have any doubts, then put them in the comment box below and I'll answer all of your doubts. And also, you can check out my Instagram. If you have any doubts or any problems, then you can just DM me there and I will help you with any problems that you have. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys learned at least one thing from this video, then please do not forget to press that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming up with similar videos of HTML and CSS. So, thank you so much for sticking till the end, and see you in the next video. Till then, bye.